civilization.
The computer would simplify decision-making. Well, in fact, what's happened? Computer does simplify decision-making, but it complexifies everything else, so you have to make more complex decisions anyway.
Multiple waves of change.
Social change.
Okay, peace. Thanks for the patience, guys. We're going to get started
When
here in a
waves
minute.
collide, you get conflict. The entire social system, the entire way of life is changing. And that means family structure, it means values, it means culture, it means the arts, it means science. All of these are changing in parallel and in relationship to one another. AT&T, the rise of Japan, the importance of computers, the internet, many things which I think we saw before others did. Not because we're mystical or have some, hidden insight, but because we built models, intellectual models of how to think about change, and how to think about societies, and how the pieces fit together, and what is the nature of change. And they've turned out to be reasonably correct.
Okay. Peace and blessings to everybody. We've got a special show today. I've been telling people, I've been in discussions with one of the pioneers himself, RFB. And yes, we've been working on getting something together. And yeah, today's the day. And we worked it out. So we have special guest here, none other than the infamous brother Richie from the famous and well-known pioneering Richie from Boston channel of YouTube. How are you, brother?
I'm well, dude. I can't believe I just said that I was well, but I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
Excellent, man. Thank you for being here. It's been a while, man. It's at least a couple years now.
Yeah, I got mad at everybody. It happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I do that.
Totally, man. We understand you. Got nothing but love for you, brother. So we know how it is in the real world, and especially when you have any type of footprint or popularity, notoriety, as it were, in this world of YouTube. Sometimes things get a little hairy, and sometimes we got to step away and handle business. And, there's a lot of flack that comes with this line of work. So, I mean, I understand that, man. So I'm just appreciative of you overall because, you've been kind of a shining light in the darkness for quite some time.
I don't know about that. That's pretty, you're really laying it on thick there, brother.
I wouldn't say that because who was one of the only guys in January and maybe even before that of 2020, even in early 2019, warning everybody about this potential coming pandemic and the pushing of jabs. I mean, it was you and maybe a handful of other guys. But, I got to respect that, man.
Yeah, but the thing is here's the deal. When I came to that conclusion, if you recall, I hit you up via text saying, dude, did I just F up really bad? Like, am I going to make myself look ridiculous? You were like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We'll see what comes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've said plenty of things that made me look ridiculous, but that was a big one, man.
Yeah, man, it was. And I remember that discussion and we both were like, look, man, we could be wrong about some of this. And you asked me and I was like, listen, it sounds crazy. But you know what? I've been doing studies in this area too. I mean, in 2017, I did a bunch of work on the Zika, connecting things to Fauci, and I was discovering how Fauci was in the works with the World Health Organization as well as Gates, talking about universal jabs. So I was already looking into universal jabs through the Zika angle because I pinned Zika down right away. I knew exactly what that was about, but it just disappeared. So I backed off of the whole like biotech thing because I felt maybe I was jumping the shark because Zika just vanished. You know, I was on the whole Brazil Olympics, you know, I was going in on that. And then it's just gone. And so I kind of fell back. And then I think about a year later, you started talking about this, and I was reluctant just because of what happened with Zika. But yeah, man, sure enough, you asked me, I was like, listen, we got to see bodies on the ground.
Remember that?
That's it.
But dude, both of us, we were risking our entire, it wasn't even credibility on YouTube. We were risking hurting a lot of people if we were wrong.
Yeah.
And we had no way to back up what we were saying other than looking at the agenda that they had pushed forward so far.
Yeah.
And it made sense, man. And turns out we were right.
We were right. And
which sucks. It's a double-edged sword, man.
Sure, it does.
We were right. Hooray. They're really doing this, you know?
Yeah. And now look at now, you know, relationships have been ruined. Divorces have happened. Parents and children have separated ways. I mean, family members, I mean, death, not to mention, okay, injuries, right?
Yep. 3 years later, brother, 3 years later, and people are still, I've been on the road for about 6 weeks, 7 weeks solid, and I've seen people in every city in town, for the most part, on my route, and I've seen at least 60% more people wearing face masks than I did last year. And I'll tell you what, I'm seeing 300% more homeless people of every walk of life, like I ain't never seen before, man. Like I ain't never seen before, man. I mean, you're in California, so you know what's up.
It's absolutely insane.
You're still in Cali, right?
Yes, especially around Oakland. You know, even I don't live in Oakland anymore, but you know, whenever I go there, it's like tent cities everywhere. It's crazy. I can't even believe what they're allowing to happen.
San Francisco, all the places growing up, all the places that you would want to go see in America that were famous, that were awesome, are destroyed. Like right down the middle of the streets, you got storefronts with lines of tents down the sidewalk. I tell people back home and they don't believe me. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm telling you, it's right out in the open. There's no shame in their game, man. It's crazy, dude. We ain't never seen that. I mean, there's a lot of, since we spoke last, you got Netflix coming out with Epstein. You got Netflix coming out with 𝗦𝗃𝗃𝗃. You got all sorts of, they're just putting it out there like it's just entertainment.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. It's the facts, but it's just, who cares? What can I do? I'm just one person, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And isn't it interesting how the narratives and the plots in these series seem to align perfectly with what's happening in real time, real life, or they kind of predict something that's coming in, you know, a year or so.
Oh, well, how about this? How about this? How about this? I know I'm going to put us in all sorts of different directions. So
let's go.
Dude, aliens. They're here now. It's we got cops getting it on body cams now. It's just no big deal. Yeah. Aliens are here. Here we go. Aliens and YouTube shorts, man.
Yeah, aliens and YouTube shorts. If surprisingly, though, YouTube shorts are, I wouldn't say they're dying out because they get the most views out of everything on this website. But as far as the corporate is concerned, because I do research some of their updates, they're looking to move away from shorts because it's just, you know, it's not a great business model because what it does is it doesn't necessarily produce long-term viewership. People are in and out. And they're just bouncing all over the place and nothing really sticks. And that really screws up the algorithm because the algorithm doesn't know what to focus on.
Yeah, but you just put it in a nutshell, as you often do, whether you knew it or not. But people are in and out. That's what they want. They want in and out. Empty calories for your mind, man. Sucking up all your time. TikTok, all these other, I mean, it's insane. It's insane how bad people have gotten in just 2 years space of time.
2 years.
People still wearing masks, brother. 3 years later,
still
wearing masks.
Yeah. Yeah. I just went to the store earlier to get me some water. And yeah, I saw a bunch of people wearing masks. I'm like, what is going on? This is just, and I do get it, you know, there's still going to be the convid, you know, the COVIDians, as they say. So I do understand, but it's
the branch COVIDians.
The branch COVIDians.
Well played.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What a world.
Yeah, man. So we had aliens recently.
India went to the moon. You saw that, right?
You know, I had the article pulled for a previous show, and I didn't have time to show it. But yeah, man, that was wild. And they found I forget who it was. It might have been Russia. Someone found an image of a bear on Mars. Did you see that one?
No.
It's like you know, kind of like those old school things where it's like a stain on a napkin and it looks like Jesus. You know, that kind of thing. I
do.
It's like a formation of rocks and it looks like a bear or something. It's like kind of going viral. You know, Mars, aliens, virtual reality, extended reality, interplanetary living. I mean, anything except reality, right? Anything except objectivity.
You got deep fake Elon Musk and deep fake Mr. Beast. You know who that dude is? The biggest YouTuber or whatever.
Yes.
You got deep fakes of them selling their subscribers fake stuff.
I heard about that.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're moving towards. We're moving towards like a deep fake reality or post-reality. Black Mirror. It's all Black Mirror, man.
You want to know what's going to happen? Watch Black Mirror. And I'm surprised he actually did more episodes because he did. I'm not sure if you're aware.
Oh, yeah. I'm reviewing him on the Patreon right now.
Are you?
Yeah. So far, I've did only the first episode, which was heavy. You know, the Joan is awful. I did Joan is awful. Broke that.
But that was a trip, dude.
I mean, it's everything I've been talking about.
They could easily remake either one of us just from our social media, no problem. And I guarantee, maybe you haven't, but I've hit the submit button. Everybody does, man. You don't read all that because we all do. You to read all that.
We all do.
If you read all that, you'd know that your cellular phone is a hazardous material thing that you shouldn't have anywhere near you.
Yes.
But we don't read that, you know. Joan is awful. Wasn't
that a great episode? I mean, they're all good. I
watched it several times, to be honest. I don't watch much television, but I watched that several times because I was like, they could really do this. As a matter of fact, they can do this.
And they will.
I'm just waiting for them to break it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's literally a matter of time. They have the tech. It's just who's going to put it out. You know, it's as simple as that. And we already see the formation of these types of Streamberry corporations, right? Streamberry being that main, you know, the corp in the episode. I mean, Netflix, and it's just funny because it was like they were talking about themselves. You know, Streamberry, even the logo and everything was just like a simulation of Netflix. So they're coming out and telling us, look, guys, this is the future of entertainment. One-stop shop, subjective curated material for every individual based on your likings that they get from your data. And it's the AI generating live, real-time, unique experiences for each and every person. It just is, it's like so crazy, but we're right there. We're right there. And it's just a matter of data collection. And this is why I've been focusing a lot on Web3 and, you know, just this whole move towards the Internet of Everything and data-driven epistemology, all these concepts that I've been working on, because this is how they're building this future, like digital video game world, right? And getting us preoccupied and obsessed with entertainment and content is the first way to get our attention. Once they have our attention, but in a way that's immersive, such that we want to live through our entertainment experiences. We want to live in them. And that's the move. We're moving towards that, literally living in your curated content experiences. It's very sick and disturbing, but then you see who's behind a lot of this tech and it kind of makes sense. You know, these guys are so detached, you know.
It does. The Internet of what was the terminology? Internet of Everything?
Yes, Internet of Everything. This
You were the first one I ever heard saying that.
I mean, I don't know any, I know, like, you know, academics and stuff, the guys I read, a lot of the researchers that are in the academy working on these things, but I haven't heard anyone on YouTube, like in our truther world, talking about this stuff.
I remember that a couple of years ago, and I'm one of your Patreons. I just don't watch anything on the internet. I don't watch any YouTubers ever, unless it's UFC.
I understand
drinking
that.
my coffee in the morning. Senseless stuff. You know what I mean?
No, totally. I mean, as knowing what you know, it's like,
dude, I've run into so many of my subscribers, even with a different colored truck. I thought I could get over, and I'd have to say split down the middle. 50-50 took my advice. What can we do? You can do everything you can, but then stop worrying, because it's just like sitting in a rocking chair. It'll keep you busy, but you won't go anyplace. Live life while you can right now. You know what I mean? And resist as much as you possibly can. It doesn't mean running around with tinfoil on your hat telling people about aliens or demons and chemtrails. And I mean, I believe all that's true, but I don't yell that at random strangers because you come off as a crazy person. Do you know what I mean? And we were talking about this before we went live. I don't even go to family events anymore because all my family are highly educated, master's degrees, professors, so forth and so on, all the way down to me. But all they have to talk about is whatever is the hot topic on television. And when you don't watch television, you don't want to hear about sports and politics. And when Trump gets back, he'll fix this. It's like, yeah, think about that, you know? So sadly, I really have no interaction with my family except for my father. And my father took all the shots exactly like I told you he would back in the day because it's his job. He's got to. There was a brilliant way they incorporated this. You can't go to school. You can't feed your kids. You can't go outside. You can't do this. A lot of people just did it. And then he had a stroke. He lost his eye. 2 carotid arteries in his neck were 80% blocked all of a sudden out of nowhere. Every single symptom we talked about, he got. And it took me almost a month to actually tie it together. I went, oh, shit. This happened to my father. Like, I didn't even catch it, dude. You know what I mean? I just didn't even catch it. And this is the guy that goes to the doctor all the time. So, I mean, he's in his 70s, man. That's what you do. You go to the doctor. What are you doing today? Going to the doctor. Getting a shot. For what? I don't know. But, you know, doctors don't lie. Well, that show on Netflix, Painkiller, it shows exactly how doctors absolutely do lie. You know what I mean?
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing how they put the truth out there, right?
It's right out there. I mean, Painkiller shows exactly. They knew Oxys was the second wave of crack cocaine. This time going after rich white kids and then everybody else. You know what I mean? Because Contra bringing crack cocaine over here to fight a war in South America was specifically supposed to take out all African Americans. That was the plan. It spread a little bit, but Oxys was the one too, man, because that brought in heroin.
Big time. That was like the follow-up, right?
You bet. And it was no joke, man. No joke. I've been listening to a lot of old school stuff we already know about. Like Netflix has the movie American Made with Tom Cruise playing the guy that was working with the CIA, bringing cocaine from all the cartels. The cartels were working for the CIA. You know, it's all out there. Everything we ever thought about or theorized on is now a show, and they're just backing it up 100%. They're not pulling any punches, and people still aren't marching on Washington with, you know, broomsticks and whatever else, you know, torches or whatever. I don't know. That was an old school analogy that went horribly awry. My bad.
But think about that, though. What you're saying is it's just a different world now, different generations. And even the generations, say those of us Gen Xers and maybe some of the older millennials that were the protesting type, the stand on my morals and belief and principle types. What happened to all of that? Now everyone's being pulled in to this proxy war kind of thing where, oh, you're either on the left or you're on the right, you're, you know, pro-convid, you know, etc. Or now we have the Israel situation. Now we have this whole war thing, and, you know, World War III and all of this stuff.
Come on, you say it such a, you know, I mean, Israel got blindsided. They don't pay attention to what anyone else is doing ever. How could they know that these guys over there with potato guns and glorified fireworks were going to attack them? And then Biden calls it their, it was their 9/11. So there's the first heartstring. And then he said, screw it. This is a Holocaust. Well, let's not get into the semantics or the you know, all the moving parts of the Holocaust, what was and what wasn't or whatever. But I mean, 1,000 people ain't 6 million people. And I know the whole number is debatable because I put the entire thing up. It's still up on BitChute. I know that. But I'm just saying, using the word Holocaust, that's big time. That's big time. That's like Bush standing on 9/11 going Pearl Harbor. Same thing. You bet. I mean, and the ridiculousness that we need to send aircraft carrier groups, not one, but two, to back Israel up against Hamas.
Didn't they say
these poor people? I mean, I feel really bad for these
horrible.
guys.
It's horrible.
I really do, because they have been in a controlled, open-air martial law testing zone since the inception of Israel. And nobody says anything about it. It is what it is. Now they're going to get some democracy dumped on them. And when it comes to war, we get brutal, man. Smart bums, yeah. Take the word smart away. They're just bombs, man.
All that. Yeah.
Like phosphorus.
Yes. And didn't they say, and I don't mean to laugh, but it's hilarious because it's so ridiculous. Didn't they say they like flew in on hang gliders or something like that? I mean, how do you not detect something like that when you got all this high-tech technology? I mean, the military and
diabolical they are.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. It's you got to laugh to keep from crying, right? Because
you got to laugh to keep from crying,
because it's so
Prepare
twisted.
Yourself mentally, physically, but emotionally, and then try to live, no matter what your idea of living is. Look outside and watch a cloud for a couple of hours and think about God. Don't stress out on this stuff, man. I told you, I meet a lot of people. 50% of them are regular, and 50% are what everyone considers conspiracy theorists, because they just start. They bring out the whole thing in 2 minutes flat. Chemtrails, aliens, demons, the whole. It's too much. It's too much. It's an overload for usual people, you know. I really thought we were going to win this one, brother. I did. Remember the day I called you from Wyoming? I said, I'll come get you right now. We're ready. And nothing happened.
I do. I remember.
Nothing happened. You were all set. You were good to go.
I was ready.
We're gonna make you a soldier in 20 minutes.
The funny thing was, I'm not going to lie. I was a little, I'm not going to say scared, but it's kind of like when you're prepared for the absolute worst it's kind of like if you're going to skydive or something and you don't want to do it, you know, but you're like, okay, here, I'm going to jump. It's like that kind of feeling, like, here it is. This is the time. It's go time, you know?
Yep.
And it's just, I don't know, man.
It was go time. When we were putting up video clips of American troops walking down the streets in America, shooting at people because they wouldn't close the door. They were standing in their door frames. They were shooting at them with rubber bullets. That was the bell. And when nobody answered, not that we know of, you know what I mean? And that's the whole reason. That's the whole reason Jailbreak Overland started years ago. People find me on that channel like, oh my God, you started a new channel. I'm like, no, this channel's been here a long time. It's just the last one. And I happen to put it in a different email address, which is the only reason it got saved, I believe. But they did catch me. They do know it's me, I think. But they watched that. And they realized we weren't going to answer the bell. There was just too much mud in the water, I guess. I was traveling the country because traveling the country allowed me to talk to people, because even back in 2005, I knew you couldn't text anybody that was a Christian group or a group of veterans. You couldn't text them without that communication. You had to do it face to face. Cool. I'll jump in my truck and drive, man. I'll sleep in my truck. I won't even get hotels, you know, whatever it takes. And then when the time came, those same people suddenly were making masks with their logos on it to fight for freedom. And I'm like, are you serious, guys? This isn't real. This isn't real. I mean, how many different ways can you possibly say it's not real?
Bro.
Well, it was real enough.
Bro, I just remember those days, and like how many people were calling us crazy.
I'm trying to get you to go for a civilian uprising while you've got wildfires kicking at your door. You know what I mean? And there was riots going on, if you recall.
Yeah, I do. I remember the things were burning around me. Riots were around me.
Head, dude.
I don't know how I did it, because I was surrounded, and I was like, I got to get out of here. I know all you guys remember. You know, I was moving. I was like, I'm leaving my home. I'm trying to figure out. I was homeless, not homeless, but you know, I was like transient for a while. It was a crazy time, and what was so hard was no one believed anything we said. No. Family, friends, people thought we were crazy. Well, you're not gonna get it? What? They couldn't believe what I believed. It's like, looking at it now, it's almost like it was a dream.
I agree.
Did that happen? Did 2020 to 2022 happen?
Yeah.
Did it happen? Right?
It seems like so long ago now. You know what I mean? But It's crazy because every single time you turn around, another cog clicks into place, and it just keeps moving forward. In Israel with Hamas, did you see the correlation that many fish found with Hamas and the Bible, where the first mention of the word violence in the Bible is in Genesis,
Hamas,
and then it shows Hamas, CHAMAS. I just found that really strange, man.
Yeah,
I really did. And I mean, I used to have, I can't think of his name. He went a little crazy, if you remember. He had swastikas on his hands. And, what's his name?
I'm not sure.
He's an OG. He's an Australian dude. He's been on the internet forever. Max.
Oh, Egan?
Whatever.
Egan?
What is it?
Egan?
Yes.
Egan. Max Egan, right?
The reason I even had any type of a relationship with Max Egan is because way back in the day, Israel and Hamas were having a network televised kerfuffle to distract Americans from their, retirements or whatever else, leaving their bank accounts. And I had him on because he was just there. And he literally went from one side to the other side underground and was talking to these people face to face. So that information was valuable because I didn't know. And he's like, these are dirt poor people living under the worst conditions. And he showed me a couple of video clips that he took that I don't believe he ever ran. Max Egan, that's his name.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe I forgot Max Egan's name.
Yeah, I don't know anything about him, like his work or anything, but I've heard his name. He's pretty famous, I think.
Been there. That was his value to me. He was there on the ground. He saw how it worked, this, that, and the other thing. And Israel doesn't play around, man, whatsoever at all. They spy on us. We know it. We publicize it and do nothing about it.
Yeah.
But they didn't see these guys getting ready to do something wacky.
Come on, man. You're not going to get me to believe any of that.
No. But I mean, that is a serious elevation in things going on. That's big because they're making it look like we got to send battles. We don't got to send nothing to Israel. They've got everything, stuff we don't even have, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes. I mean, I've been working, my last show, I was focusing on Israeli tech, and I've been just working on this for some time. And it's amazing when you see how much money is being funneled into that region. And then when you look into what they're actually working on, the actual tech that they have, and then you consider especially the different types of AI, the tech that they've been using for years now, since about 2015. And then you look at the first AI war that was in, I think, 2006. They called it the first AI war, the Guardian of the Walls war with Hamas. They were using AI way back then. So it's just like they've been working on this. They've been developing this. And now they're pushing the Iron Dome, which is nothing but a very sophisticated AI platform. It's pretty amazing, it like creates this force field that shoots out that blocks missiles, intercepts missiles and stuff. It's called Iron Dome. Look it up. It's insane. This is like
I'm familiar with Iron Dome.
Like space age stuff. And they're even using types of lasers now that people are equating to do.
Well, I'm wondering if that's why we're seeing 3 different states in 1 week. I'm out in the middle of nowhere, so you got my whole point is to get a decent night sky without pollution, without light pollution. 3 separate times I've had Starlink go over me. What they call Starlink.
Oh, yeah.
And it's massive, dude.
Isn't it crazy? I've seen it one time.
It's massive, and they're everywhere now, and he just keeps launching them, and everyone's cool with it, yet I still have no cell phone signal right here in Moab. Cool. You know what I mean?
Wow. I was losing it one night, man. I was in Arizona, and I was just hanging out. I was outside. I was just having a beer, just looking up into the sky. A beautiful night. You get to see the stars and everything out there in Arizona.
Yep, not in California.
Oh, no way. And I just see this line just like beeping, and it's like perfectly structured. It was just like amazing. I was like, what is that? And I was like, oh, that's Starlink. It was the creepiest thing I've ever seen, man. Well, maybe not the creepiest, but it was pretty creepy.
I was in Mike Decker's driveway, and it came over, and I had never seen it before at all. All I kept thinking was, oh no, they're starting it. Like here, my heart dropped. It was like fight or flight, but I'm like, how do you fight or flight against something like this?
Yeah.
And the beauty of it is neither one of us could actually get it on camera. We could get every light in the sky to focus on the camera, but we couldn't get Starlink, and we had 3 different types of cameras. Nothing would focus on Starlink, but it would focus on Starlink's little homies that were rolling next to it every once in a while. Perfectly lined up with the Starlink you can see was an outrigger of sorts, just kind of rolling with them. So that kind of blew away their entire explanation of what their system was. It was supposed to be this one straight line, but there were little dudes next to it, little TIE fighters or whatever you want to call them. It was pretty scary, but they're everywhere now.
Oh,
you
everywhere.
can't look up and not see them.
Have you seen, there's some graphics that are going around online now, and it's showing all of the different satellites, and they cover the Earth, man. They cover everything.
I got some.
It's crazy, man. It's like it's real deal. Skynet is around the corner, man. Like real deal.
Without it, that was kind of my point. That was my point. When you mentioned Iron Dome, I kept thinking that exact thing because, dude, Hawaii, I live on an island. So I can understand the, what's the right word? The logistics of a wildfire coming through. There wasn't any wildfire because none of the brush or anything was burned. Just every single thing that people lived in or used was decimated overnight. And then you can't go back to your own property whatsoever at all. No news, no nothing to see here. That was exactly the other side of the coin of Australia when COVID first broke. Australia got the boot put to them, man, and there's nothing you can do. It's an island. Yeah. We can control everything. It's perfect. Well, we just got our Australia. And then right after that, Israel and Hamas go, here we go. Right?
It's just, it's too easy, man, you know. And again, what do we know? We're just conspiracy theorists. This is the write-off we always get, especially anytime I try to speak with anybody about this in the real world. You always get that kind of like glossed over eye look, like, oh, you're one of those. Okay, I know not to listen to your kind.
That's right. The automatic firewall snaps into place at lightning speed. The beauty of the COVID thing is they were ready for us because they had the disinformation that was calling us out by name. Like, this guy thinks that's ridiculous. And then the doctors, half the doctors I have on were complete fugazis. They were complete. I didn't see it coming, dude. And
you were doing the best you could, man. You were doing the best you could.
I'm trying to come cross country to pick you up to get ready so we can teach you how to shoot. You know what I mean?
I'm not too bad with a gun, but yeah, I can use some education.
Mike, we were out in Warland, man. There was
y'all ain't playing. Y'all ain't playing. I know.
But they were ready with the point counterpoint thing big time, and then they overtook us because they just started taking us out or limiting us because your channel should be at 300,000-400,000 by now, bro.
Easy. I've been at
because that's how it works. You know?
I've been at 109 for the entire year. Okay, I think I got shout out to what was her name, 𝗦𝗵𝗿𝗶𝗍. I think she gave me a shout out early in the year, and it bumped me up to 109, and I haven't moved since. I think I get a couple subscribers a day, if I'm lucky, and I don't pay attention anymore. I don't look at anything anymore. It's just pointless. The channel is completely shadow banned. I'm shocked I get the amount of people watching I do. So at this point, man, I'm just working. I put my head down and I read and I write and I study and I source information and I edit it up. I produce all of this and I get it out to the public, man. And I ain't worried about nothing else.
Because you know you're right.
I know I'm right.
You know you're right.
In many cases, not maybe everything, but in many cases.
No, I'm hip. But you're as right as we can be. We're getting information from the system. Yes. Any way we can, you know. So it is what it is. But when you know you're right on this scale, you couldn't just stop. You can't pull the plug. You can't just walk away and say, you can't unring the bell, man. The red pill, the blue pill. Morpheus was not kidding. You can't take one and then go back.
No way.
He wasn't kidding, man.
Nah. It's crazy. It's go time.
I went to Crater Lake up in Oregon because I figured I could get the Ring of Fire perfect first thing in the morning. It was a long ride. It was no joke. Couldn't see a thing. But what I did get that same night was the first time since maybe a year, spider webs all over the poles, the trees, the cars. Dude, it was 32 degrees out there. Wow. In October, all over the place. And I mentioned that in a BitChute, and a subscriber sent me a link today where he found my old videos on some national archive or something like this. And when the Ring of Fire happened in 2019, I made a video the next day saying the exact same thing. That there were spider webs falling from the sky. And I mean, these spider webs were massive. They were almost like fishing line, you know, they were from the airplanes. I'm going to do a video on it so you'll see what I'm talking about.
Interesting, yeah.
I don't remember this many eclipses all the time. We got biblical things happening on Earth. We got crazy things happening in the sky. And everyone's just watching TikTok. You know what I mean? Logan Paul and his brother, or whoever,
yeah, worried about Jada Pinkett and Will Smith, and
oh my goodness, poor Will.
Poor Will.
Every time he turns around, he's getting bitch slapped back. Damn, no pun intended, but I mean, damn, she's no joke.
No joke. I mean,
Tupac was my soulmate.
What?
Yeah, Pac wouldn't like that, man.
Hell no, man. And it's funny. Well, look at us talking about it too. It's fun. It's funny how, you know, after the fact, you know, he can't speak for himself. I don't know. I don't trust that woman with a 100-foot pole, man. Anyhow, it's just interesting how all of this stuff is happening, right? It's all of this controversy, and there's always controversy, of course,
right.
but it seems like right now there's this influx of big time stories. Have you heard? I mean, it's kind of really out of our world, but there's this whole like Sniper Wolf thing going on. She's like some huge YouTube streamer or something. I guess like she went to some other YouTuber's house and like doxed him on like live stream, 5 million people watching or something, like crazy. So it's like a huge thing in that realm, like the Mr. Beast realm. So that's like really popping off right now. That's viral. Then there's this Jada Pinkett thing, Taylor Swift thing, and her Pfizer spokesperson boyfriend.
And that keeps the masses. That's something to talk about at work. You know what I mean?
See,
if you got a job.
Yeah, that's it. It's something for everyone to chew on. Every little YouTube realm right now has a massive story to chew on, like some juicy, you know, controversy. And then the political is just the Hamas thing, right? It's just huge. Anybody in the politics, left, right, man, they're just going at each other's throats. Like Twitter is mad right now.
I don't ever remember in my entire lifetime. And I've gone past a half a century. That's a piece. That's a piece of life. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I don't ever remember seeing United States sending massive backup. When we send an aircraft carrier is a bad day for anybody.
Yes.
We're sending 2 groups out to help Israel. I've never heard that. Even the 7-day war, I never heard this, man. This is crazy. So they're getting ready. Something bad's going to happen.
That's what it looks like. They're setting us up for something serious, man.
Hoover Dam.
Yes. It's about to just, man, right when they were talking about babies, that's when I knew it. I was like, here we go. This is Desert Storm. This is 9/11. I mean, here we go. This is Bush era. Yes.
That's all out there. That girl wasn't even in Kuwait at the time. She was an ambassador's daughter. She was coached by the CIA's legal company. It's all out there for anybody of any walk of life to read in numerous books. You know what I mean? It's old news, and they're pulling it again because it worked so well the first time.
Yes.
But they got to do something. You know, Hamas is going to probably hit us.
Yes.
Is what I'm expecting because it makes sense.
It makes sense, man.
In their incredibly crazy game plan, man, because they're not slowing down. They ain't stopping.
No, man, it makes sense, especially when I saw some clips and I played them on the show Saturday where they're like, oh no, you know, I forget what the number was, but a certain number of, you know, Islamic, you know, terrorists or whatever are loose in America. And
of course,
you know, it's like, here we go, man. And it's just, it's unfortunate because a lot of people, hey, don't play with Americans, man. We will arm up. And it's like, I already know people are arming up. They're getting ready. You know, they're guarding their homes and communities as they should. But when it's all on false pretense, man, it's like, what do they got lined up? What do they got lined up for this, man? Because I can easily see some type of, let's pray, small scale event of sorts, right? Very, very soon. It's the only thing they really need to kick this off, bro.
I agree.
You want to kick this off? Yeah. Let something happen to a group of Americans on our soil within the next several weeks. Let something happen.
I agree. And I don't know why. And it turns out that Keith from Minifish, who I haven't spoke to whatsoever at all, I know him like I know you. You know what I mean? I actually met him once in real life.
Sure.
The Hoover Dam popped into my head, and I made a video about it. And it was a video like my usual. Here's what I think. I got nothing to back it up. Here's some more stuff that I think. I can't back that up either. Somebody else will figure it out. He did figure it out. And I didn't realize that those two massive angel statues at the Hoover Dam, I didn't realize they have 6 toes on their feet. It's right there in front of your face. They both have, you don't sculpt an additional toe by accident. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Well, I'm all upset. This Hoover Dam's no good, and Hamas and this, that, and the other thing. I didn't even know that. I mean, that's crazy, man. I never knew that. And if you look at it from above, it looks exactly like a woman's reproductive system, verbatim.
I see.
From an aerial shot. And one of my subscribers just sent me the book, a guy named JW. That's all I know. Oh, his name's actually Thomas, whatever. He sent me a book on the Hoover Dam where they explained, because Neil deGrasse Tyson got me going on this. I don't watch movies or any of this stuff. I didn't realize the Transformers story was we extracted all the technology for them when they crashed here, and we used the Hoover Dam as a project to distract from what we were really doing. And then right after the Hoover Dam was done, all of a sudden we had quantum physics and all sorts of lasers and all sorts of other stuff that we didn't have. And it just hit me. And I don't know. I hope it doesn't go down like that. But the Hoover Dam was put up just like 9/11, just like the towers, brother. It was probably put up to come down.
Bro, ooh, man, I'm gonna pray on that one.
Me too, because it's gonna destroy so many people. As mad as I get after all this on YouTube and trying to warn people, printing up tens of thousands of bumper stickers that said COVID is a hoax and thumbnail drives and all this running around and all this other where I thought we would actually turn the tide. When I see these people, I do have a degree of anger, and I pray about it because that's all I can do. It still happens, but I still feel bad for them, man. Like, nobody deserves to live their life, their entire life in the United States, paying their taxes, following the rules, and then they're going to pull this on you. And the thing is it's not even the damage or, the loss of life. They're trying to take your soul.
Yes.
For absolutely for real. And that's a real thing. It just freaks me out, man.
It's beyond the flesh, it's beyond
beyond the flesh.
It's beyond this life even, this is deep stuff, man. And
Yep. And I just heard that, I didn't realize it, but it shouldn't be a surprise, but Christianity is the #1 religion on earth under attack right now.
Absolutely.
We already knew that.
Yeah. I got some clips here of Israelis spitting on Christians, man. It's disgusting.
They don't dig us.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I mean, and Scripture teaches us about this, but at the same time, it's happening, man. It's like all of this is happening, and I guess, and we've discussed this about the whole scamdemic situation too. The hard part is trying, and we'll never know, but trying to figure out how much is this in a line with the authentic timeline of Scripture opposed to some like simulation of it done by those in power, right?
That's what I keep thinking. It's a simulation.
Yeah.
They're trying to speed up anything that's written in Revelations to kick it off now. I don't know if that's a possibility. I don't know how that works. That's above my pay grade. But
I try to really stay humble in these areas because that's definitely not something I am too steeped in. But I do get the impression, at least based on the fact that a lot of this just doesn't align with Scripture like the way it should for this to be authentic. A lot of, like you said, speeding up. I really believe they're really picking things up quickly because they're not meeting their goals. Their 2030 goals, they will not meet. They won't meet. They're already talking about pushing some back. I don't know if you've heard this.
I did.
But they're pushing stuff back to 2045 now.
I saw that and I was wondering if that was a red herring.
I think it is. I think it is a red herring.
Because, dude, in 2 years' time, I've seen 400% rise in homeless people. You used to see them in Colorado. certain spot. They're in Colorado, they're in Wyoming, they're in Washington, they're in Montana, they're in Idaho, they're in California. They're absolutely every place, man.
Yeah.
And then we still got people flooding into the country with drugs.
Yeah.
I said this recently in a video. This is just for anybody that doesn't believe anything. If you believe your government's legit, the Taliban, quote unquote, killed way less people than the cartels have. Why haven't we spread some democracy on them? Because they're in another country. We don't care what country where they're in. We've proven that time and time again. You know what I mean? These dudes are just flooding in here. And I mean, we went from oxys to heroin to fentanyl, because somebody in your chat just said that.
Fentanyl, yeah. Fentanyl is the current crack cocaine. Yeah. Yeah,
but the thing is the mortality rate is off the chain.
Off the chain. I think it might
with fentanyl.
Yeah, I think it might even be passing up. All that happened in the 80s. I mean, when we think about how far spread it is across the United States, the crack era was more isolated in certain urban communities. But this fentanyl, heroin, opiate issue is across the board, man. And then you think of the wars. You think about it, Afghanistan, the Golden Crescent, and all of that, and how really a lot of that had to do with holding, and even Vietnam. Okay, we think about seizing land for this type of business, and it's interesting how shortly thereafter we get this booming opium industry. It's just fascinating, isn't it? How they're just I was part of it. I had a bad sports injury. I was put on Vicodin for like an entire year. I got addicted to it just based on the natural thing that happens after taking it 4 times a day for 12 months, and before you know it, you can't sleep or do anything without it. And it's just amazing how all of a sudden you're just getting thrown this stuff for anything. And now look where we're at. Fentanyl is even worse than those types of pills. It's just sad, man.
If you can spare 6 hours out of your life, watch Painkiller, because it's a 6-part series.
I will.
But it's the exact 100% story right up to this day. You know what I mean? It jives with all the stuff that we've always thought about it. I look like I'm purple. Oh, there's no lights on in here.
No, you're good, man.
It's dark up. Yeah, I'm purple. It is what it is.
We could see you. That's all that matters.
There you go. Dude, I'm like, really? I can't sign into StreamYard? Wow.
It's been a while, man. You're out there making it happen. And one thing I really like about your just the whole way you go about this, especially during the most important time during the scamdemic, when you were doing some really good work and just hammering on things nonstop, not giving up. You are out there on the road, mixing it up with people, seeing what is actually happening on the grounds, and you were going cross country. So you were seeing developments in different states and how people were behaving. And I remember you were showing images of signs on businesses, and you were able to like keep up with the flow of regulations and mandates based on location. And that was powerful, man. And what it did for me was really broaden my vision as well, because I got to see real time, real world, as this transpired, I got to see what it looked like, especially in places that I would never be able to see at that time. So I thought that was really cool, man. And there's no one else that does this kind of method, which is very interesting, and it just makes your work special,
I had to make it into another channel. That's what Jailbreak is. You can see the transition on Jailbreak from COVID to, all right, I got to do this for real. One way, I got to do something to occupy my time, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not jumping back into the system. No two ways about it.
Yeah, man. I mean, especially now, things have taken off so much post-COVID. It's clear we're on this next stage of whatever's coming. Yes. And it started with this war. And my view is clearly 2020 was the year to just, it was like this from this point forward, everything's changing. That's obvious. But this war in 2023 in general has its own little place in history. When at least from my view, it's this onset of high power AI mixed with like the commercialization of it, right? We have it in everything. It's everywhere now. We're even able to use it
to edit videos.
Exactly. Everyone's playing around with it. So 2023 is very significant in that we will never be the same. in so many different ways because of this new introduction of AI. But it's just the beginning is the fascinating part. It hasn't even really, we haven't even begun to see what's coming, what's going to come because of this type of tech. And then we think of the war, which is going to take this AI stuff to the next level, because Israel is leading the earth in terms of AI development. People may not realize that, but they are leading the earth in AI development, and they're working on a massive, what I've discovered is called through my studies of different academics is pervasive AI. It's this new type of like sensing AI that's able to, in a sense, form a type of like, you know how we have our system of senses, like our 5 senses. It's almost like that, but like a virtual version of that. It's this crazy like God AI thing, and that's really what AI. That's really what Israel's working on, man. And this war is going to give them all the money and R&D they need to develop it.
Either that, it's going to give them the opportunity to test it.
Well, that too, yes.
You know what I'm saying? One of the two.
I'd say both.
I agree. And every time we get a war, we get some crazy technology. The military used this during. Now you can have it.
Yeah.
They do it every time.
Yeah, it's sad, scary, fascinating, all of these things at once, but it's moving so fast, and
it's genius.
It's genius. That's why we know it's satanic, because it's just too genius.
Genius, dude. It's absolutely genius. It's all there is to it. They covered their bases every which way, where they got people. We said this 2 years ago. I'll say it again. They've got people propagating their lie, bolstering it for them, backing them up to their own detriment. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's insane. It's insane.
There's no other way to put it. And
meanwhile, they're teaching, the preschool, 5 years old to some other, I don't know school grades. I don't have kids, but there's a week-long LGBTQ thing to teach your kids all about that coming out of the closet stuff. And
don't even get me started on that, bro.
It doesn't
end, man, don't get me started.
Can you hear me playing with my mic?
What's that?
Can you hear me messing with my mic?
It's not bad. Yeah.
I shouldn't be touching it.
How is the audio, guys? Do we have any echoes or anything? If there's any audio issues, let me know, man. Yeah, man. Look, what they're doing to the kids, that's a whole other realm of discussion. But I'm going to tell you, man, they're going in. They're really trying to create a whole new generation, man. This is Frankfurt School 10.0, man. They're transforming the youth. And now what they have is they have the technology on top of the philosophy. Their whole progressive philosophy used to just be lip service. But now they have the tech that can literally engineer minds. And there's no stopping this. It's literally up to parents, families, and communities, man. Because this thing is moving. I've seen it happen. It's in all kind of schools, man. Schools you would think you'd never find this stuff. You got 5-year-old kids, man, that are talking about, non-binary. Not the child, but the parents. Right. Bringing these kids in, wearing dresses and what do you? This kid doesn't know blueberry from strawberry.
Right.
Come on, man.
It's crazy, and all I think about is better they had a millstone tied around their neck and thrown into the depths of the sea. God don't like when you mess with kids, man.
No.
You know what I mean? And these guys consistently and constantly do it in the most diabolical of ways. You know what I'm saying? It's unbelievable, man.
It is.
It really, truly is. So
it's time. It's time for, we've been talking about these things for years. You've been talking about them for even longer, and everything is unfolding way sooner than we had imagined, man. I mean, we were talking about this in 2020. Like, man, can you believe this? It's really here. They're really about to push this whole jab thing. And it came and went.
The paperwork's always been there.
Yeah.
The agenda has always been laid out for us. But you just never thought these people would have the audacity to try this, because we figured the pushback would be so great. These dudes would be hanging from pulp. Nope, not at all.
See?
Not at all.
See?
All is well.
Yep.
Nothing to see here. See something? Say something.
People turn on you in a second. It's like you thought you knew. You thought you knew people. You thought people stood for something. All it takes is a little discomfort, man, and they fold.
They do.
It's crazy. And I've been trying to tell people, even people around me, listen, man, you guys don't think what happened it's gone now. We don't ever have to worry about that level of discomfort again. That was a test run, man.
Right.
They know they got us. And it's almost like this Hamas Israel thing. There's like a social engineering aspect too, where they're like almost testing to see how far they can go with this too. What can we get people to comply to? What can we get them to side with? Now they're getting people to side with outright murder.
Right.
Of women and children as a response, get back, as it were.
Right.
Justice. What?
I thought I'd see a lot of my heavy hitting buddies. I got a lot of friends, and I have a lot of subscribers that are in alphabet agencies. And it always blows me away, man. I'm like, and every time it's like there's a whole group of us that listen to you and this guy and that guy, and I'm like, and you guys actually have the credentials to do something with this. And then it turns out they don't. They can't do anything. They're stuck in the same machine squared. We get messed with, but we don't actually see who it is. They get messed with face to face, then they go to the brig. You know what I mean? And all my boys who I thought would freak out about these battle groups heading out to Israel to help them out against the dirt farmers and Hamas, there was no outrage. That should have been like, oh man, we're going to war. We don't send carrier groups if we ain't going to use them. That's a lot of oil, man. Oil ain't free.
It's not. And it's funny because I always was under the impression that there's no real reason for war, at least kinetic, right? Because of the power of technology now. And the way they're introducing this war, in a sense, even though they're claiming we're going to send troops and all of that, and we're actually going to be going to war, I still think it holds up in that a lot of this will be simulacra, right? A lot of this stuff will be simulated on screens through data, showing us death through data, similar to how they did during COVID, right?
Yeah.
So there will be a feigned kinetic war, and I don't want to say feigned because they're really bombing people. So it's not necessarily,
no doubt.
It's not necessarily feigned.
We just saw them do it with Ukraine.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
They killed a lot of people, but then when we were seeing video game footage.
Yes. So it's this weird mixture between a virtual war, a telewar, or like a spectator warfare where we're all tuned in and almost like interacting with the war through our screens. But then at the same time, we're so detached from it. There's almost this weird spectator experience where we're like playing a game because there's no real consequences. We just get to tune in. And that part of all of this really disturbs me because it really detaches people from their humanity. And I think this is the way the war is going to be played out for the most part. Not to say there won't be some kinetic warfare and also death, but they're willing to sacrifice a percentage of people. They're just willing to do that. And then you think about the millions of people that they sacrifice daily by way of diet, big food, and chemicals, and all types of other things, spraying stuff in the skies. You think about millions of people that they sacrifice slowly year to year. A few 100,000 of people, or maybe a few tens of thousands of people that they sacrifice in a war is nothing compared to what they really do day to day. So it's very easy for them to get over on these events. And the thing that's interesting is it gets so much pub and so much let's say emotion because it's war, right? It's painted as this situation that's dire and it's historical, and war is like this big thing, just like a pandemic and a disease and a virus is a big thing, yet they kill way more people way easier and way more ways than we're even aware of, right? It's like if we're going to talk about death and murder by way of government, I mean, there is plenty of arenas to see that, but people don't see those arenas. They only see the ones on their screens, the ones that are promoted, right?
Right, but the beauty part of this entire system, we've seen it ramp up in the last 2-3 years, big time, is the distractions. The TikToks, you see a heart-wrenching video on TikTok, and then you flip, and now you're watching something comical, and next thing you know, you don't even remember it. They did this well, brother.
There it is.
They did this well. You know what I'm saying?
There it is, man. Yes.
And speaking about what you said with this being an AI-generated war for Israel and Hamas or whatever, I find it strange that they did send over 2 aircraft carrier groups. So they sent over lots and lots of dollars worth of high-end airplanes. We might lose a couple, because that does happen where a stealth bomber just completely goes missing and, no big deal. What are you going to do? But if you recall, it has to be a decade ago. Nicholson, myself, several others were making a big deal out of how all the military websites are like, yeah, we're putting these receivers, we're making all of our heavy equipment compatible with AI so AI can run them all.
Wow. So you were on that too.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm saying this was information that was out there.
Wow.
And it was anything that had to do with D-Wave, quantum computing,
That's
et
right.
cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. You were heavy on that. Yeah. I
So
remember.
now we're watching these boys sending over serious whoop ass. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We know they don't need it, dude.
At
what
all.
I mean?
Yeah.
Seriously, Hamas is just another boogeyman. It's just another file cabinet.
Exactly. So something's cooking. They're just over there cooking, man.
Yeah.
This is just a moment. It's so crazy because people are losing it. Look at YouTube right now. Everyone's going crazy about this. You see debates, all these long discussions. Everyone's going into the rigmarole of this, Israel, Hamas, and the political history and the geopolitics. It's like, y'all so lost in the sauce, man.
Dude, you just look like Ice Cube just said for a minute. I don't know if that's racist or not, but we got Trump, Biden supporters. We got pro-LBGT. We got anti this, that, the other thing. And then when you add the war, that's a whole nother divide and conquer setup right there.
Right there.
You ain't going to stand with Israel. You got to defend America, know? And that's the other thing, too. If you don't stand with Israel, they'll make you stand with America because they'll just do something here and say it was Hamas.
There we go.
You want to see how it all comes together again?
Yep. That's what I'm saying. It only takes that. Because if we're not biting yet, if enough Americans aren't biting yet, that's the next move. Okay, you guys aren't going to come protect Israel. Well, we're going to come into some domestic stuff.
Yep.
And then everyone's going to be forced to be on board because then you're just going to look like, a traitor or something.
I felt like, well, no, you're exactly on it. That's the ultimate thing because that would even get to me.
Yeah, all of us.
I wouldn't fall for it, but it wouldn't matter. Nobody around me would care. They wouldn't listen to They weren't listening to us back then. They ain't going to listen to us now.
Of course not.
And these guys are turning it up. They're bringing flags into play.
Yes, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I say all the time. I'm like, you know what? I don't spend any time trying to convince people anymore. I'll stand up for what I believe in if people try to, whatever, but I don't try to convince anyone anymore. Because if you're not awake now, if you haven't figured things out at least a little bit now, after 3 years of this nonsense, there's no saving you, man. Like, and again, people can wake up tomorrow, right? So I'm always could be wrong about that when it comes to certain people, specific individuals. But overall, I'm saying, listen, man, if you haven't woke up now, good luck, because it's about to get real, real spicy soon.
I agree. It is definitely going to get sporty. No two ways about it. They will. In order for Agenda 2030 to come into fruition, we need to get rid of a lot of people on this earth. And that's a big job, dude. Getting rid of one dead body without getting in trouble for it's hard enough, I've heard. But imagine getting rid of billions, and that's what they need to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I really hate thinking about that part. But,
I do.
But you're right. Yeah.
I still put up videos. There's no glory in it. There's no nothing to it. Being Richie from Boston sucked. You know what I mean? I didn't mind doing it because I thought it was making a difference, but all it did was make me look like an asshole to everybody that don't know any better. And then technology just came around and bit me, and it was like playing with a snake the whole time. It turned around and bit me. I mean, I'm still here and there, but when you're relegated to BitChute, that's lame.
It is, man. BitChute's hard.
Platform, dude.
It's hard. I can't even get stuff uploaded on that thing. I've just given up on BitChute. Even Rumble, man. Like, I had trouble I couldn't even get my stream up last week. I ended up having to repost, and that was difficult. It's hard because there's really very little alternative. Odyssey is the same. Constant uploading issues. Constant glitches and bugs constantly, man. And it's just hard. But like you said, all by design. This is all set up. It's like a soft censorship, ghosting, just throttling, I think is a good term. They just they throttle anyone with a good message. or anyone that's just trying to peek through a lot of this fog that they're just spewing out. Anybody trying to peek through it, they just slow you down a little bit. They let you exist to degrees, right? But they just slow everything down. It's discouraging, man. I must be completely honest. Back in the day when we used to actually grow and develop and reach people, that's gone. Those days are gone.
That was the only.
They're gone.
That was the only reward for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only reward was knowing, damn, I'm still getting subscribers. People are watching these videos. I'm reaching people.
Yes.
One old woman or one little kid's mother wakes up, so much the better. Because I feel bad for people, man. I got serious empathy, which doesn't play well in this particular world, but
especially people with kids, young kids, they're the ones that need.
Dude, that COVID was perfect for it.
Man,
got to give them the shots. They had pressure coming from every conceivable angle, including the grandparents, the school teachers, everybody. How do you not do it, man? Because look how much strife we were going through. Like, what if we're wrong, dude?
Yeah.
What if we're wrong? And this is legit. We're telling people not to take the shot that didn't even exist yet.
Yeah. No, I remember the conversation. We both were honestly really concerned about that. Like, man, this is a serious
concern.
Yeah, this is a serious thing. We got to be careful what we say here. You know, what if we're wrong about this, you know?
Yeah, I went a little AWOL with that. I got to do it. I don't know.
But all praises to the Most High. You know, things, I guess, didn't work out for the best, but we weren't wrong. So that, if you know what I mean, right? Like, we didn't want to be right, but at least we weren't sending people. What's that? Go ahead. Sorry.
My own father got smoked by the COVID shot, dude. The
Sorry
one person I would want to save, I couldn't. He was just too tough to die. We said there was going to be heart conditions, clogged arteries, strokes, and death. He had all of them except death. But he's not the same person whatsoever at all. Not at all.
Sure. That's usually.
He'll never hear it. He won't hear it from me. No way.
Yeah.
No way. So.
I mean, it's just amazing to see especially your case. Your story is very interesting because you were like a pioneer of this corner of YouTube, built up a big channel early in the game. You know, you were one of the big guys that was really getting a lot of respect and viewership. And it was a different time, you know, different things. It was fun, you know. I remember I wasn't on YouTube yet making content, but I was definitely watching. And it was
I wasn't a pioneer, dude. I did what Truth Stream Media was doing.
Sure.
Nicholson, 1968.
Sure. I mean, I guess to me you were, because you know, in my early days, you were one of the guys I was watching, you know, Nicholson, KJ, Brother Theo, Unplug 'Em, you know, even Russian vids, you know, all of these guys that were kind of, you know, your peers of the time, I guess. You know, that's why I look at you, all of you guys, as like pioneers, you know, because you guys were setting the tone for speaking out on YouTube in this kind of fashion. And it was something that wasn't happening anywhere on the internet. So it's something to actually really consider, right? When you think of how you were putting yourself out there, stepping out, you know, and on faith, and just speaking the truth. And, you know, we're not always right about things, but it's the point, you know, you're actually getting out there and saying something. And of course, through the process, enemies are created, you know, whether that be through envy or just people trolling. And that's just how it is, especially when you have a big audience. But I mean, you have to look at this small little microcosm on the internet and how significant it is with regard to what's been going on. And when you step back and look at that, you have to respect it. Because one day, far from today, people are going to look back at this little weird era on YouTube of this kind of truther thing. And it's going to get a lot more respect than it does now. Trust me on that. Because what has happened over the last, let's just say 15 years is extremely unique, I'd say. Especially when you think about all that's been going on. Right? It's strange to a lot of people. It's even come to the point where people make fun of us and call us crazy, tinfoil hat, and all of this stuff. But when time passes and people start to look back, they're already doing it. You know, the Alex Jones was right, you know, coin jar, all of this stuff. It's like people are going to realize those guys y'all call crazy, they were onto something. They were onto something. And here we are. And it's unfortunate because being part of that first wave, or maybe the second wave, because I do believe there was a wave before you got on too, right? I'm sure guys that inspired you,
without a doubt.
right? So
They were hardcore, old school, just the facts, period.
Like 06, or no, 07, 08, 09. Yeah.
Right after 9/11, about a year afterwards, the truth community popped up.
Oh, that's before YouTube. Yeah. When it was just websites, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Like the loose change era.
Yep.
Yeah. Because that's when I first started really getting exposed to some of these ideas. Loose Change was one of those really groundbreaking documentaries for me. Of course, what is it? Zeitgeist. Everyone was kind of hooked on Zeitgeist for a short period. But I right away figured out that was a psyop. Not right away, but it took me some time.
Me too. They did it well.
Yeah,
and then they started getting sloppy.
Yeah.
I think.
And so my point is, you were part of this second wave, and it's just unfortunate to see that wave get wiped out, right? Like a lot of your era has been removed, man. And
I should have listened to myself, dude, because how many times I said they're taking me down. When they took out 6 channels in 6 days, I should have known. I should have known.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
And now it's at the point where anyone could get on here and give it a shot. But now the technology they have, it's very difficult to come even close to what you guys were doing back then, man. Like the only reason I'm able to even hold it down the way I do is because I got my foot in a little bit of that era. I started in 2016, so it was different then. They didn't have algos then. Right. So I was able to kind of get the ball flowing. And then when you first interviewed me, I had about 48,000. I was about 48K, just, grit and grime. And then once you interviewed me, that's when things started to take off because you introduced me to a whole new audience.
Yeah. But
and then it should have. But then right after that, literally months after that, COVID, boom.
Yeah.
Then the new algos, the new censorship, all feeding off of the Event 201 project. They had all of this lined up, ready to go. They knew who we were.
Yeah.
Right? So now you either look like, they want people to think, oh, they're conspiracy theorists, or they hide you. They hide you in the shadows, and you're allowed to operate within this small little parameter.
That's right.
And that's where we're at now. So anyone starting a channel now, you have to deal with not really being seen. And it's just simple as that. Unless you're, showing twerk videos or, what I'm saying, doing some progressive crap. You know what I mean? Other than that, if you're speaking any truth, they're going to hide you.
I agree. Dayz, I gotta jump out of here.
Okay, man. Hey, thank you for being with me,
well
man.
Over an hour. I wasn't sure if we were even going to get on.
I know, me either. We had some issues early on. But yeah, I'm glad we got to do this, man.
I got to pack the truck for tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm out of here tomorrow. I can't keep a hotel for more than 2 days. It's no good.
All right, man. Well, I want to get a little panel together another time soon. Maybe you and a couple other guys.
The funny thing is I haven't opened StreamYard in 3 years, and I'm looking right up here. It says RFB and Nicholson 1968.
Yeah.
I have no clue why that would be sitting there. It's just freaking me out.
That's probably mine because I'm using the StreamYard from our last stream that we had with Nicholson.
All right. So it wasn't, never mind. You could have let me have that one. I was like, God wants me to call Nick.
Yeah, hit him up, man. Let's get together. Shout out to Mike. How's Mike doing, man?
I haven't heard from Mike since the rumor that he was dead. I called him and he never returned my call.
Really?
I called him a couple times. I'm like, Mike, the internet's telling me you're dead.
No way.
Me back.
You haven't heard from him?
I don't know. Well, he's posted a video. I know. Okay.
Dead. So he's all right. Okay. Well, as long as he's living,
dude
man.
Like that. I don't know.
Hey, man, we're all a little funny, man. But you know what?
I hear you. It is what it is.
We respect each other and we got love for each other, and we do our work and we mind our business, man. You know what I'm saying?
Numbers fool you, man. You could have 2 million subscribers and you wouldn't know it.
And I just don't care anymore. Like I said, man, I put my head down and I do the work. That's it. I don't care what nobody got to say about me because no one knows me, and I work hard, man. And that's it. I'm gonna stand on that. I'm gonna let the work do its due, and that's it.
Last time we did a live stream, I never saw your face.
Yeah, that's right. I mean? The first time.
Come to California and pick you up.
Yeah, the first time. Yeah, because I had yet to be on camera yet. That's right.
No, that's right. And the dude, I'm like, listen, I'm gonna go to. If this dude says yes, I'm gonna drive out to California in my Land Cruiser. I'm gonna bring him back here. And we're gonna show him what's up. And they're like, you don't even know this guy. I said, look at all of us. We need a smart guy, okay? I'm going to get him if he says yes. So that's what we thought of you.
Well, I'm still down, man. If it comes down to,
I hope so.
if it gets,
I hope we're all still able to do something.
Yeah, if it gets grimy, man, I'm always ready. So,
but I'll tell you what, from the feedback I've gotten over the years, every time I really need it, it shows up. Someone will hit me up in an email, some random dude from Idaho or from Florida or from Louisiana, and say, "You changed my life." And it just freaks me out. I'm like, seriously? You know, it just freaks me out. So we're making progress. I just don't know if we're meant to win this one. I don't know, man.
You know, I feel you, and I don't know. I don't think we're supposed to win anything. We're just supposed to have long suffering and never give up, man.
Well, that's where we're at.
That's it.
All right, brother.
All right, brother. Take care.
Do me a favor, if you could leave a link to my BitChute and RFB TV.
Absolutely, I'll put it in. Yes, I'll put it in the description.
Sweet, man.
All right, brother.
It was really good talking to you. Everybody in the chat, there's a lot of you. Dang. Yeah, Jailbreak Overland. Just try to keep the comments. Try to keep the comments in Jailbreak so that it doesn't get that channel in trouble. That's all I got. All right, brother.
All right, brother. Talk to you soon.
I will. I'm out.
Peace.
Later.
All right, hold on. Let me pull up my camera here. What did I do? What did I do? Hold up. Okay. Hold on, guys. There we go. All right. All right. Well, yeah, we had Richie from Boston, man. That was cool. I haven't seen that guy. It's been quite some time. I think it's been 2 years since I've seen him, since we had a show together. So I'm glad we got to reunite and have a little chat. I'd really like to get him back on with Nicholson, man. That'd be cool. Maybe a couple other people. It'd be nice to get a little panel up here with some Christian truthers, and we could just discuss some of this stuff. I'll be reaching out to some people because it's time, you know, it's just time. It's time to really get things back in order here on this YouTube website, because things are getting out of hand. And there's a lot of, you know, I don't want to say anything disrespectful, but there's a lot of lackluster talk going around here. So we need to bring it back to the old school, man. Bring it back to the old school. So yeah, impromptu Dayz Cap, yeah, or Daz Cap. Sorry, I had to do it, man. You know, we didn't know when we were going to do the stream. We were thinking about doing it on the on either today or tomorrow. And you know how Richie get down. He's in and out, all around, jamming. So you know, he just hit me up when he could. Yes, I'm definitely getting unplugged. I'm Brother Theo. I got to reach out to that guy. We ain't talking in a minute either, man. But that's how it is. We're busy. We're all doing our own thing, you know. So we all respect each other's space and all that. Yeah, Casey. Yeah, shout out to Casey. Enter the Stars, of course. Super cool dude. KJ, of course. I'd love to get KJ on here, man. Of Scariest Movie Ever. Yeah, man. Just get some of these old school people back. And, you know, I look up to these guys because, you know, I was watching them before I was on YouTube. And I just got respect for the work. And like I said, Richie, you know, gave me a shot early on. You know, I had about 48K, I think, when he first interviewed me, and things took off after that. You know, at the time, he was one of the bigger channels, so he offered me up an opportunity to speak, and I was like, okay, you know, humble. What is going on with my mic? I was humbled by that, so I'll always keep him in my heart for you know, just giving little old me a chance to speak, you know. And here we are, right? And same to KJ, you know, another guy who interviewed me early on, who I really respect and got a lot of love for. Miss Black Child, says Carmen. Oh man, Black Child was, man, they don't do content like that anymore. You know, he just had his own model, his own flavor, and it was cool. It's so influential and inspiring, you know. So oh, that's how you found the channel. Yeah, see, a lot of people found this channel, whether it be through the algorithm or through the interviews. So I'm so thankful because, you know, we wouldn't have been able to do what we do, right? And, you know, things are different now. It's a different website. Algorithms are hardcore, but we're still here. That's all that really matters. We're still able to do this. I'm humble and thankful to even have the opportunity. So, you know, I thank you all for being with me, though. I'm going to get myself out of here. Shout out to Hulk, man. Good to see you, bro. I'm going to have Hulk on here, too, because Hulk represents kind of the new generation, right? The new truther, Christian truther generation. So I want to have Hulk on, maybe some other people. I'll reach out. You know, we'll have some discussions. And yeah, let's get back. You know, me and Hulk, we're going to have some more discussions on his channel. Got a lot of work to do, man. Shout out to Bari. Shout out to 𝗏𝗏𝗍𝗃. Good to see you guys. You're welcome, Babylon's bully. I've been trying to get in touch with this guy for a while, man. It's just, you know, I lost his... Actually, I got a new phone a while back, and I wasn't able to give him a call because, you know, I didn't have the number. But I reached out, and it worked out, man. Complex says, what made me stick to you was your aesthetics, intros, music, and vibe, bro. That's what got me curious to watch more. Keep that vibe. Oh, wow, Complex Unity. Thank you for that. You know, that's the first time anyone's ever said that. And that makes me feel good because, you know, that's a big part of my work. Just because I don't only enjoy it, but it's a part of who I am. So it's like no matter what I do, there's always going to be that vibe, as it were, because it's a big part of who I am. And I appreciate that because I share that with you all as just a representation of me. And, you know, it's cool to get that recognition. So thank you for that. I appreciate it because it's a big part of this. Because, you know, art, aesthetics, those things are important to me. They're fun. I think they give life meaning and texture, you know, and they just make things more more enjoyable, you know, at least in my view. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here, man. The Speaker Uneasy, good to see you. Corey G as well. None of your business, good to see you. Suncoast Guitar Repair, good to see you, man. Axiom in the building as well. Yeah, so we'll be back Saturday. Got a heavy show. It's not going to be as heavy as the last. I know that was a nice 5-hour, you know, tear, but we definitely got a lot to discuss. That's for sure. It won't be 5 hours, but we definitely got a show coming. We did a live stream earlier today on the Patreon and Locals where I discussed the constructing the video game world, I believe is the name of it, and we went into just more of the reality plus simulation hypothesis lecture work. And that was fun. That was earlier this afternoon. So shout out to the Patreons and the Locals. I'm sure you guys are going to check that out. And let's see, I think Thursday we're going to have another stream on the Patreon Locals. And then we'll be back Saturday. And I got a bunch of new stuff coming that I'm not even going to say anything about. So this fall sessions is where it's at. That's all I'm going to say. So I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you for being with us. I want to end the show as always by saying all praises to the Most High God. In Jesus' name, amen and shalom.
Civilization, we're told, began in ancient Mesopotamia in a region called the Fertile Crescent. Here, 30 or 40 miles south of San Francisco, lies Silicon Valley, California. And some of its inhabitants think that it may well be the Fertile Crescent of tomorrow's civilization. Civilization.
The computer would simplify decision making. Well, in fact, what's happened? Computer does simplify decision making, but it complexifies everything else, so you have to make more complex decisions anyway.
Multiple waves of change.
Social change. When waves collide, you get conflict. The entire social system, the entire way of life is changing. And that means family structure, it means values, it means culture, it means the arts, it means science. All of these are changing in parallel and in relationship to one another. In AT&T, the rise of Japan, the importance of computers, the internet, many, many things which I think we saw before others did. Not because we're mystical or have some, hidden insight, but because we built models, intellectual models of how to think about change and how to think about societies and how the pieces fit together and what is the nature